Happy Wednesday, my peaceful and profitable entrepreneurs. I am so glad you're here. It is a beautiful day. The sun is shining through brightly. Let me kind of adjust this and make sure we're good. How's that? It's kind of there's a lot of light in different directions and rainbows on my head. So I'm really excited to chat today. I think this is such an important topic and I want to look at it through a few different lenses. But it's really how to successfully prepare for time off during the holidays because, hi Jen, thanks for joining. So glad to have you. Because this is I've seen this in my own business and I work with countless business owners that this is just such a big topic. Thanks for saying hello. And on that note, if you join live or catch the replay, be sure to say hello, leave a comment, ask questions. We're always doing a giveaway. Today it is my masterclass that's all about the 4 ways to grow your business. It's very robust. It's 90 minutes. I'm so proud of it. So, leave a comment or question. You'll be entered to win and we'll announce that on Friday. Hi, Casey. Thanks for joining. So glad to have you here. But it's just really sunny in Charleston today, so I've got a lot of light coming in. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I know when I started my business 7 years ago, I'll kind of give a little backstory on that. But this is something I see all the time with business owners, the ones I work with and just talk to. And so let me know your thoughts if you're like, I can't take time off, or I feel like I can't take time off, or I don't even know what that looks like. Let me know. I'd love to hear kind of your take on this because I think as solopreneurs or just, with a very small team, we feel like this is just not something we can do. And so, if you know my story, I started bookkeeping. I have like 2 anniversaries. So 7 years ago in August, I was on maternity leave and I started my business and then went back to work, gave them 2 months notice. And then January of 7 years ago, this coming January, I started accepting clients. So that's really when, business kind of took off. I had like multiple clients right off the bat. And so I was very fortunate in that respect. And I was pregnant with my second child. So the first 2 are 14 months apart. So I had that going on. And then it was April or May? We went to went to Italy. Hi, Jezebel. It's so nice to see you. We were supposed to go to England 2020, but that didn't happen. So this trip we were in Italy and I had so much anxiety about leaving. I had a few clients right off the bat. It was all bookkeeping. It was only me. If you know my story, hi, thanks for saying hello, Jezebel. I'm saying that right. Is that how you pronounce it? But it was just very nerve-wracking for me to leave. And it was bookkeeping. Like, yes, it's important, like totally, a foundational piece of like everyone's business. But like I had such anxiety at that time about like leaving the country. Oh, good. I'm glad. However I learned to read, I kind of pronounce people's names funny sometimes. So I'm glad to hear that. But this trip, I was out of the country. I didn't take a laptop. Like we were traveling with an 8-month-old. So like I didn't bring any work stuff and I was not going to work. And I'm proud of myself for that. And I still had this kind of like, I don't know, this weight on my shoulders of like, what am I going to come back to? And what's it going to be like? And is something going to blow up while I'm gone? Or there's going to be a bookkeeping emergency or, all that stuff that was just getting kicked up in my mind. And so that's kind of the first place I want to start with. My framework, if you've been here, is mindset, strategy, organize, implement. And so just that mindset was really hurtful to me. I just didn't enjoy the trip as much as I could have. Like obviously I had a great time, but looking back, I would have done it differently in that, it just would have been different. So I want to share that today, some of the strategic pieces that we've, worked on in our business and with the countless business owners I work with. And, let's just say it, that it takes planning. Like if we want to take time off, we've got a plan. If you don't plan, then you plan to fail or, whatever that saying is. I can't think of it right now, but you know what I mean? Like nothing is wrong with having to plan. Like it's the beginning of November, it's November 2nd. So now is the time to start planning for the holidays. And, that's just what we all have to do. That's just a fact of being a business owner. And nothing is wrong with our business if we have to plan to take time off. And then in the past, when we have taken time off and didn't plan, our brain kicks up stuff about like, well, see, it didn't work. And, now you can't take time off because look what happened. And it's like, just because it didn't work, it wasn't necessarily a failure. Maybe it just wasn't the outcome that you wanted. So I'm kind of looking at it from that perspective and really thinking about like, okay, what can I do differently this time? How can I really set myself up for success to be able to take that time off? So we'll dive in. I have 6 things. And just because you have to be intentional about something doesn't make it less enjoyable. Like I really, and I think in some of my posts coming up, I'm really talking about being intentional with the holidays because, if we don't plan for experiences that we want to happen, like they're just not going to happen. Like, if I want to walk with a friend every, so often, then it's like, okay, we just set a plan that every Monday we're going to get together and walk. Or, I'm going to talk to my sister every week on Fridays, whatever that is, like being really intentional, because otherwise we get into December and it's just like, poof, like where did the time go? So, I love the Oprah quote. I always like to do a quote, and this one came to mind, and I don't know it exactly, but she says something about your hands have to be open to receive. So, meaning that like we have to be intentional about creating this space to be able to create that experience and that, time off and really enjoy time with our families that we want. Because I know I have 3 kids, and the week of Thanksgiving, they're all going to be home, and, like work doesn't necessarily stop, but, I really have to be strategic about how we have everything laid out and how I show up. So that's what we're going to talk about. Please give me questions, comments. Like I'm a one-to-one person, so I really thrive on, personalization. I'm not like a teacher that loves to stand in front of the class and just like present. So if you have like the questions and comments, like please let me know and I can see them. So let me get this straight. There's still rainbows on my face, but that's okay. So the first thing is kind of what I mentioned before about start planning now. So don't wait till the week of Thanksgiving or early December to start this, because this is just a busy time of year. If you have team members, everybody kind of wants off at the same time. And so starting the process early is just like the key. And it sounds so simple, and it is, but simple doesn't mean easy. Like sometimes it's hard for our heads to like wrap around that right now. Like we just had Halloween. We're kind of in this, like, it was busy and now we're kind of just want a little breather for a second. But we really have to like start thinking about it. So for an example, is our January is really busy just for like year-end stuff, and then 1099. So we file 1099, like NECs and miscellaneous for our clients. And like that has to be done January 31st. And so I start now, like we are gathering lists for each client about approximately how many need to be filed. I'm putting them in a spreadsheet, seeing, comparing it to last year, seeing what information we're missing. And then I start getting engagement letters out. Like I'll get those out in the next 2 weeks for people, and not everyone's going to sign them, but at least it's ready and it's there, and I've tracked on my spreadsheet that this has been sent out. So the closer and closer it gets to the deadline and we haven't gotten what we need, that's when our prices increase. Just that's how we do it, because I plan early. So if you wait till the last minute, like it's not my fault. So that's just a really helpful place for me to start like planning and prepare for that. And that also looks like talking to team members now and communicating like when I'm going to be off, but I might be getting ahead of myself. So that's really the thing, is to start planning now, not making yourself wrong about it, not feeling like a crazy person. Cause my husband, he's not a planner like I am. And so he's kind of like, whoa, pump the brakes, slow down. But I'm like, but people are going to ask us about this, and your mom's going to want to know if we're doing this. So like, we need to know what the plan is ahead of time. And it's just the same in business. So if your kids are going to be home on certain days, or the week that you're traveling or whatever that is, like know what that looks like and what time you want to take off. So I also have less availability for my meetings. So I know when that's going to be. I know when I'll just be completely out of pocket for meetings. I'll know when I'm not available for meetings, but when I'm available to communicate via Voxer and Teamwork. So Voxer is where my one-to-one clients get just like unlimited support from me, and it's in Teamwork as well. But Voxer is kind of like the walkie-talkie app, like I'm in their back pocket type of thing. So sometimes I just have less availability or less, slower response time. And so I'm planning that now, like what that looks like. Like these days I will be in Voxer, I'll be in Teamwork, and I'll be available. Then these days I'm just not going to be. So that's kind of what that planning looks like for me. Let me know if you have any questions or any comments. I really want to make this sure that this is what y'all need and applicable to your business. So if I'm not talking about something that applies to you and you have a question, like please let me know. So the second thing is know who wants time off and when. So this is kind of referring to if you have a team. So, I've started contacting my team members. We have 3 bookkeepers, a social media girl, and a website girl. So I've kind of been talking to all of them about like, hey, this is what kind of my time off looks like. What is yours? You know, when are you going to be totally out of pocket? Like, when are you going to be, you know, like needing days off or less available? Like, whatever that looks like, or whatever, you know, that is for you. Starting that conversation now, so that you know that you have coverage and that you have what you need. And this really creates safety for everyone. So it's not like you're just opening the conversation like, hey, you know, like we're just making sure we have everything that we need. Like if we have, you know, a brick and mortar store that is open on, you know, the day after Thanksgiving or whatever, like letting everyone know like, yes, it's safe to take off, and we're just making sure that we have the coverage we need, seeing what gaps we have and all that stuff. And side note, you know, I used to be a nurse just for a little midlife crisis, 5-year stint. And I know like we're very lucky that we get to take time off, because I worked so many Christmases and New Year's, and well, actually I got New Year's off usually because I worked Christmas and Thanksgiving. But, you know, I know there are people out there that cannot take time off. So if you're a doctor or a nurse or respiratory therapist in a hospital or any of that stuff, like I know that this doesn't apply, because that's just the nature of the beast. But this is, you know, people that we're working online, we are service-based, and if we're product-based, you know, we have a team, and just talking to employees and making sure like, yeah, this is a big day for us, you know, the day after Thanksgiving or whatever that might be for you, or Cyber Monday, like whatever. Having that conversation, letting them know it's safe to take off, and just, you know, starting that conversation early. And then that helps them to start planning too, because they may not have thought about it. They may just be like, yeah, I'll probably take some time off, but I don't know. This, you know, gets them thinking, so that even if it takes like another week or so, like they'll be able to get to you sooner than later about that. So let me know if this is all making sense and tracking. I know we had a couple more people join, so thanks for joining. Say hello, drop your comments and questions, and you'll be entered to win our giveaway. So the third thing is to know what you're selling and offering around the holiday. So like I was kind of just mentioning, if you have Black Friday promotions or Cyber Monday or Christmas sales, you know when you're going to be selling those, and then make sure you map it out. So, you know, if you're going to have a Black Friday promotion, like, okay, we know we're going to be offering this. Let's back it up. You know, when do we need to create the promo post? When do we need to, you know, get this to our social media person? Or, hi, Casey, thanks for saying hi. Thanks for joining us. Know what that looks like. So know what your promotions are, you know, even if it doesn't change, if you're still keeping kind of the status quo, knowing like when your team members are going to be gone, like, you know, to get them something maybe a week earlier than you would. Or if you're doing those special offers, knowing like, hey, they're going to be gone, so I need to make sure I get this to them ahead of time. But it's really useful, like, you know, you don't want to be thinking about like Black Friday promotions the week of Thanksgiving. Like, you're going to be scrambling. And if you love that, that's great. But like, you're not going to be able to go like cook the Thanksgiving turkey and then still do your promotion. So really map that out and back into it. Like, I always love to start with a goal and then like backtrack from there and get your starting point and know like what the steps are, who's involved, what timelines are changing, and all that. So that's pretty much the third thing, is, you know, thinking about like, how can we do this? How do we navigate this? Anything that can be scheduled in advance. My social media manager schedules a lot of stuff in advance. So, you know, she needs to know when I'm going to be gone, and I need to make sure I know when she's going to be gone so I can get it to her ahead of time. And then the times that she's gone, you know, there are certain things like stories or reels that like you can't schedule ahead of time. I don't think reels have that capability yet, but so when she's gone, I'm just not doing those things. You know, it's like, I'm not going to worry about it. Like, it's basically going to be, you know, stuff that we can schedule ahead of time. And if I feel inspired and want to create something and have it in my back pocket, great. You know, I do have a couple of those things, and I'll probably put a reminder on my phone and be like, okay, on this day, I need to post this because it's a reel. But, you know, that'll be planned out ahead of time. And it's not like she's like having time with her family and then she has to think about like running to post a reel. So we're just mapping that out so that it's like, we don't really have to worry about it those days. We have coverage, we have posts going out, but it's not like anything that someone needs to pull away from their family to do, because I just don't think it's that important. So we're making sure that we have that scheduled and mapped out in advance. So the fourth thing is talking to team about hours and pay. So really communicating if there is decreased pay for decreased hours. The way that I work in my business is team members are all paid an agreed upon rate for services. So like the bookkeepers are paid a percentage of the bookkeeping agreement. And then my other, team members, it's basically like these services for this rate. And so that doesn't change. Like as long as they're doing the same work, it doesn't matter to me what it looks like in terms of their schedule. And that's why I love those containers. Like I love them to get better and more efficient at their job and not be punished. Like, with bookkeeping, if you're paid hourly, in the beginning, you're getting paid more. And then as you get faster and faster at it, you get paid less. So you're basically punished for getting better at your job. So it was important to me when I brought on team members to make sure that like they can be as fast as they want. They can be as efficient as they want. Or if the client has like a month that's a little bit lower and it doesn't take them as long, I don't want their pay to go down. I don't want them to be punished for that. So for us, that looks the same. Like they're still getting the same, pay for doing the same jobs. And, if it takes less time or whatever, they need to do more this week and, kind of hold off for a few days here, then that's totally fine. It doesn't change. But make sure that your team members know, because that could be something that they're worried about. Like if they take off time, how is that going to affect their pay? How is it going to affect like their job? And I just know, with, everybody, like everyone's kind of freaking out about the economy now. So having that conversation will really open the door and help them feel safe and know the expectations, even if it is, that the pay will go down a little bit because they are working less. Just normalize it and have the conversation and open the door, because I think that is such a key, kind of the foundation of all of this is starting now and planning now. And then also just, opening the door and communicating, because that's just like the biggest thing. And then if you are just a solo entrepreneur and it's just you and, the work you do with clients might be dependent on the hours that you do, really knowing that ahead of time can be super helpful. So to know that, if I'm working less, I'm going to get paid less, and just know that and have that door of communication open. So that's number 4. We'll keep moving on. Y'all are quiet today. Let me know if you have questions. I'm glad, I was so glad yesterday that our live stream wasn't yesterday, because Halloween night, none of my kids slept. I was so tired yesterday. So today I'm just like fresh. I'm good. Whew, like really, that worked out. So I'm glad yesterday was not Halloween, because I would be really tired today. But we'll move on to number 5. So this is communicate with your clients and customers. And that's what I was talking about leading into this. So I like to do this at least a month in advance. I think I sent out, it was definitely in October, I sent an email out to my advisory, my one-to-one VIP clients, and let them know of my upcoming availability. So that was November and December. And then I'll also send multiple emails out again, just reminding them, because some days I'm just going to be out of pocket. We're traveling for Christmas. We're traveling with my 3 kids. Like we're taking multiple planes. Like I'm not taking work stuff. So there will be days where it's like no meetings, nothing. I could technically check Voxer on my phone, but since I won't really have access to Teamwork or QuickBooks, like I'm not even going to bother. Those are just apps that they just don't work well on my phone. Like the QuickBooks app on my phone doesn't work well. So there's just no point of me trying to do that. And I just don't feel like lugging my computer to do that. Like it can wait. But I've been communicating with them, like these are the days that I'll be completely gone. These are the days that I won't have meetings, but I'll be available. Slower than normal response time because my kids will be around and, we'll be doing other things. But I really laid that out in October. And again, I'll send it again, this month in December, and, making sure that they have their meetings scheduled and letting them know, like, there will be less, availability for meetings, but if you don't see something that works for you, like, please let me know and we'll figure it out. I try to time block my schedule. So, I don't leave my schedule wide open for meetings. I kind of try to like squish them together. So, I'm totally available to open up spots, but I just don't keep everything wide open. So I communicate that with them and let them know. And I think that's the same, with team members and kind of communicating expectations and, okay, maybe there will be a slower than normal response time or whatever that looks like. And I think it's just important for me to like spell that out for my clients. And I know it might sound a little crazy of like, I'm not available on these days. I'm available via Teamwork and Voxer on these days, you know, and I know it's might be a bit much and some probably just don't care. But it's important for me to like lay it out there and let them know. And then in my mind, like I know that I did my due diligence and let them know. So if emergency does come up, like it's like, well, I laid this out like 2 months in advance. I was very open with communication about everything. So I feel very validated that like, you know, if I come back and there's like emails about something, it's like, well, you knew I was going to be gone way ahead of time. And so that's kind of like a CYA thing that I like to do. And just because of the nature of what we do, you know, we're working with money and people's money. And a lot of times we're working with CFPs and other CPAs and stuff like that. So it's just really important to me to know that like I did my due diligence. I did everything I could to let them know I wasn't available, and that's all I can do. Same for team members. So if you have team members who are waiting on you for stuff or you're getting them stuff, like knowing what that turnaround and, you know, availability is going to look like, I think it's just so important. And then if you are in like a brick and mortar, you know, knowing like who's going to work when, and it's just, I think it's just very powerful to just make sure communication is strong. So the last thing is, I feel like this is a short one today. But let me know if questions and comments come up along the way. Number 6, the last one, I think is so important, is just to know that like this time of year might look different. You know, that's okay. We can be consistent most of the time, and be less consistent during the holidays. So one of my really big things that I'm such a believer in is consistency over intensity. Like you'll probably hear me say it all the time. I say it to my clients all the time, myself included. But during the holidays, it's okay if like, you know, a few of my IG stories aren't posted one week, or, you know, whatever else that looks like. You know, I don't have a reel one week. You know, I'm totally fine with that. So, oh, Jezebel, thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. So feel free to catch the replay or the end of it. Leave any questions or comments, but I really thank you for being here. And just knowing that like we can be consistent most of the time and the holidays can look different. And I'm such an advocate of not like putting things on cruise control and autopilot and kind of like giving up, because I think people tend to do that. So that's not what I'm saying. Like it can look different and we can still be like in it and like doing everything, but just not be like sacrificing our families. It's a very fine line. But I think it's important because I feel like some people are just like, oh, I'll worry about it in January. But then if you stop now, you know, you have to start over in January with that consistency. And I talk about this all the time, but like building momentum and keeping the train going, you know, if you stop now, then like January, you're just having to like backtrack and recreate all of that. So it's okay if it looks different, and it doesn't mean you have to like totally give up and just totally like, you know, throw in the towel and wait until January to do stuff. So that's not what I'm saying, but I'm not coaching everyone one-to-one here, or we're not working together one-to-one. So I feel like it's very important to make that distinction, and whatever that looks like for you, you know, being able to kind of rest, relax, be with your family, and still not totally give up for the year end. Let's see. Yeah. And a personal example is December. I'm only doing 2 live streams. So normally I do a live stream every week, but the last 2 weeks of December, I'm just not. I'm also making sure my content, you know, is stuff my social media manager can schedule ahead of time. You know, like I said, I might get inspired and create some reels or post ahead of time, but I'm not really like sweating it if those don't go out. Something else. Oh yeah, and even this month, like normally I do a live stream every week. We're skipping the Wednesday of Thanksgiving. Like my kids will be home, you know, it's the day before Thanksgiving. So it's just, I'm not really going to worry about it, but we're still getting like 4 live streams this month. So it doesn't look that different, but I figure it's okay to take, you know, time off, and, you know, we still want to keep building that momentum, but it's totally fine if it looks a little different. So just to recap, you know, it's really about planning ahead of time. And like I said, January is our busy season, so I'm already like preparing for that. I have a couple clients that have put deposits down for January, so we're getting like really clear with their bookkeeping needs, getting onboarding with them so that January we just hit the ground running, and we're not like scrambling to get everything done. And on that note, I just realized like this morning we onboarded 4 new one-to-one clients in the past 45 days, which I think is just wild. And I'm so excited and so grateful, and just think that's a really fun thing to share. I'm very proud of that. I love, we have amazing clients and they're just really fun, amazing people, and it's going to be such magical work. So that is fun to share. But we'll go through the 6 things again. My throat gets a little dry. Start planning now. November, figure out what your holidays are going to look like. Create the plan now. Know who wants time off and when. So that's for you. That's for your team. Know what you're selling and offering around the holidays so you can back into that and know what those promotions need to look like. Know, when things need to be to certain people by different deadlines than they normally would. Know hours and pay. So really, communicating with team members what that looks like so everyone can feel safe and feel good about taking off the holidays, and know kind of what's expected and how that'll affect their pay. Communicate with clients and customers. I think this is a huge piece. Like obviously we're communicating a lot internally with our team and with our, people that we work with. And we really need to make it easy for clients and customers to know what to expect around the holidays from us. I know different people totally have different expectations of the holidays. Like my husband is a builder and he really wants to close from Christmas to New Year's. And they're always slammed between Christmas and New Year's because everyone wants to have been in their house already. Like no matter what the real deadline should be, they want it to be Christmas or New Year's. And so he's just always slammed and stressful. And so I think really communicating with our clients and customers is just so powerful and just is a conversation that needs to happen. Even if it's uncomfortable, I feel like we're still setting ourselves up for success, and potentially over delivering if we are more available than we thought, or we're like, got it good on my family time. I'm ready to, let me just step away from it and I'm going to do some work. We have the opportunity to over deliver instead of, try to promise something and then it not happen. So I think that communication piece is huge. And then feeling okay and being okay with it looking different, knowing that it's a little more relaxed, knowing that we don't have to like hustle so much, that like it will be okay. We can take time off. We've prepared for this. We've communicated this. We're not giving up, but we're just kind of like letting go, taking a breath. And I also communicate that to my clients when I send the emails about our availability and time off, and just reminding them like, this is so important for us to do. It's so important for us to step away and regroup and have that connection to our families and just kind of like, relax a little bit. And that's when I come back like so recharged, so ready to hit the ground running, come up with ideas, just feel so inspired when I come back. And I remind my clients, remind my team members, reminding y'all that like, that is genuinely what it's all about. Like we're taking care of ourselves when we take this time off, and it's just so important. So I think that's really pretty much it today. Like I think that's those are just some easy, practical, strategic things you can organize and implement, and then the mindset piece of it. But I'm just so excited to share this with y'all today. I think this is such amazing, things that I've pulled from our business and working with clients, and this is what I love to do. So there are multiple ways to work with me, but the next best step is booking a free Get Honest with Your Strategy to Scale call. This is the work that I love to do with clients. So if you're feeling like you want to stick your head in the sand with your business, or you're feeling like you're not getting the revenue that you want, or booking the clients or customers that you want, or your back end is disorganized and you don't feel safe to grow because everything's a mess, like that's when people call me. That's when people want to work with me. And this call is just a great opportunity to do that. We really look at your business. It's, my eyes and brain and experience on your business, and see what's working, see what challenges you're facing, and really create action steps that are tailored to you and your exact, position and where you are. So I'll put a link below, but I love what I do. Like I'm really good at it. If I have to, I love toot my own horn sometimes. I don't do it enough, but I'm good at this work. I'm good at seeing what the problem really is. Business owners oftentimes come to me and they think that they have one problem, and then we actually kind of dig a little bit and it's not exactly what they think it was or want it to be. And so I think that's really important work. So we have very limited spots for November, like I said, because of the holidays, and I'm not offering as many one-to-one free spots. So book those for November, and then December will definitely be limited. But thank y'all so much for being here. I know there's a million ways you could spend your time. Really appreciate it. Let me know if you come up with any questions or comments later. We always look at those and make sure we get those answered for you. But I'll be back next week, and have a good rest of your week. Bye.